how you can become your own compass. And essentially what I'm getting at here is to remove the need for external authority, to understand who you are with such clarity that the way that you live becomes smooth, absolutely effortless, with ease. And I'll get right into it, because essentially we all have this hyperactive mind which loves to judge and second guess ourselves until we become aware of it. We go into it and we start to see it and see how tricky it is and how quite unnecessary it is. The amount of pain that's derived from this internal judge, or this, whatever you want to label it, in whatever different content you're dealing with. The bottom line is that we're either judging ourselves or judging others, and running toward pleasure or running away from pain. That's like the structure that all of humanity is going through, and that's the fact of the matter. But with that being said, there's a way for us to notice that everything comes down to our relationship to ourselves, that internal judge, seeing it for what it is, and our relationship to other beings, other humans, how we converse, how we treat, how we think in relation to them. So it really kind of comes down to starting to see how much pain comes from these simple structures. And then you have this opportunity, which is to kind of go down the hero's path, to realize that you've been in so much pain. And then you ask a question like, how much pain am I willing to tolerate, right? Because that's sort of what is going to determine whether you have the courage to do the work, right? So once you do the work, it might feel as if life's getting harder, but that's the trick. Your life is getting better when it feels it's getting harder. There's just this sort of hill that once you get to the top, you see the freedom. You know when the wave's coming and you're in the ocean, and there's this moment where you're looking at that wave, and part of you is so shocked, like, oh no. But then you have to go through it. When you dive into the monster wave, you go through it and it doesn't mess you up. But if you just stand there and you let it totally absorb you, and you don't move through it and dive into that wave, go into the fear, the things which create your pain. Once you go into those, you come out the other end and you're actually fine. But if you don't go into them, they swallow you like that wave. So the compass is really noticing the things, the moment that they arise in your interactions with others and the way that you're thinking. And if you can watch the friction, the tension, the cool thing about this is your body gives you hints. You can feel it in your stomach. You can feel it in your chest. You can feel it in your neck. The instant that you begin to get trapped by that wave of thinking, self-centered thinking, if you can notice it, you dive through it and you become free from it. And that's the compass. And the work is to train it every moment so that you can see this and become free from it. That's the journey is the moment-to-moment watching. And that's the absolute compass. It's simple. It really is simple, but there's nuances too. There's a lot of variables. So it's simple. You want to keep it simple, but you also want to consider that there are so many different variables, maybe some that you don't see yet. And that's okay.
Yeah, this is well said. I feel it comes down to trusting yourself and have faith that you can figure it out. And so, for instance, like whenever you come across, I don't know, some minor problems in your daily life, I used to outsource these solutions. So I started looking outside for solutions. So I started researching and checking, what do others think about this? How did they solve it? Can I use this too? Only looking outside. And this has changed. And for instance, like a few days ago when I was in the garden, I noticed that one of our newly planted fruit trees had kind of like little insects on it. And I had no idea what kind of insects they were, what they're doing. And my initial response was like, oh, I need to figure out, what kind of insects they are, what they do. Are they doing any harm? Do extensive research. And then I was like, wait, how about I just look what they're doing? And then I can judge for myself if they are harming the tree or if they aren't harming the tree. And then I stood there watching what they were doing, and I figured out they were harming the tree. They were eating the little tiny leaves that are coming out now. So I removed them and, just with my fingers removing them, and then they were gone. And so this was kind of like a shortcut for me. And I feel like, this research phase of looking outside, this is valuable time. So if we take the tree thing now, if I would have spent like days trying to figure out what's going on, all the leaves would have been gone. And instead of just, watching a few minutes, asking myself, what do I feel about the situation? And then acting. And this can be applied, I feel, to many situations in life. And it's looking inside and knowing, first of all, knowing there is a solution and you can figure it out. And just, of course, sometimes you do need outside resources. I'm not saying it's black and white, and I don't say never research. It's nuanced and it depends on the situation, but it's knowing, having the trust, you can figure it out yourself.
That in the last line, it's freeing. It's that sort of swift, that efficiency that is derived from having that abundance, a abundance of confidence in self, an abundance of time. See, here's a few of the nuances. Your relationship to yourself and your abundance of time, your abundance of health, of wealth, of love. When you truly come from a place of abundance through acting swiftly and understanding on a deep level, like how simple it is that you have certain pathways to clarity, to not being trapped by that wave of thought, anxiety, fear, insecurity, etc., comparison, beliefs, all of this ego stuff. When you can watch it, you see the nature of it, so then you can sum it up to a structure, and rather than getting so tripped up by this happened, this, like Andy did this, but Brittany did this, you can just see, oh wait, Andy and Brittany, they're both coming from the same place. One structure, simple, basket, makes sense. And then rather than wasting energy thinking about the content, you see big picture, you simplify things, therefore the amount of energy you save and therefore have to invest and get a smoother ROI, return on investment, this is the compounding game. And I cannot put into words what happens when you do it and you do it and you do it. But it's really simple. You notice that wave of thought, that fear, that anxiety, and you also, the reason why I really like to go into the counter end is because, yes, Myra says, and this is the fact, we need to have a trust in ourselves so that we can be efficient in our thinking, in our precision, in our articulation, in our relationship to ourselves and others. That all has to be simple, precise, and clear. But it's only through going into the things which sabotage the trust, the confidence, that clarity, that you can actually start to understand what the clarity is. So, and that's why I come back to the wave analogy, because you can go through it or you can be swallowed up. And really going through it, it feels harder in the moment when you first start, but please don't believe me, don't trust me. But if you start to go through that wave, do let me know what happens. Comments. So, yeah, I got my point across here. And if you're interested in going deeper, if you would like to just increase your energy levels, create a physique, which you absolutely love, decrease stress, decrease anxiety, all of my description, I'll have my email in the description, and just shoot me an email, keyword curious, if you would like to apply for a breakthrough session. And same thing goes, if you're interested in going deeper with Myra or having a conversation with her, shoot her a DM. I'll have that in description as well. I appreciate you. If you're on YouTube, share it with a friend. If you're on the podcast, review, rating, sincerely grateful. Have a wonderful day.